Welcome to the Doug TenNapel channel. I just had to break my fast because I was going nuts. I was trying to work. I couldn't concentrate. So I went back and ate a bowl of soup, and now I'm back to work. Why would they have a big, dumb jock doing politics on The View? Welcome to Doug in Exile. Let's watch, my people. Let's watch The View. I'll explain to you a little more about The View, but first, watch this clip.
I was surprised at how lopsided it was. I was not surprised by the outcome.
That's Stephen Smith, I understand. And he's saying he wasn't surprised that Kamala lost. He was surprised at how lopsided it was. Fine. Now, Doug, why you keep doing The View? I believe The View is probably one of the more significant things in the election.
I mean, a lot of the voters who went out and voted for Donald Trump, that so many people are wondering what happened here. They're not watching, frankly, this show. They're not reading the New York Times. They're not consuming media that way. And the Trump campaign found those voters where they live. So how do Democrats need to change the way they communicate to voters?
If that interview where they brought Kamala Harris on between her and Sonny Hostin, and Sonny Hostin said, is there anything you would change? That's all she needed to do, is announce what she would change from Joe Biden. She said, I can't think of anything. That's probably the moment when her loss was secured. Kamala Harris's great loss, the most public moment of her greatest loss, was from The View. We got to thank God for us. We held it together, guys, and we never give up. Just think of how bad it would be if Kamala right now won and we were in that alternate universe. We'd be praying that God would protect us all. So I just want to say that we should pray to God and thank him. And my mind went back to all my heroes. Andrew Breitbart, one of my big heroes, the late Andrew Breitbart. And here's a word from the late Rush Limbaugh.
We are not sunk yet. We will never surrender. We will never give up. Never, never, never. It's not who we are. It's not what we do. We never give up.
That's true from the American Patriot. And he could have been, the American Patriot does not give up, but he might as well have been quoting Churchill, when you find yourself in hell, the only thing you can do is keep walking, just keep going. Now, here's that Stephen Smith on The View.
I saw the outcome coming from a mile away. You have to take into account, listen, we respect our president, Joe Biden, but here's the reality.
He respects Joe Biden. And anytime you say but here's the reality, Milt Freeman says you can ignore everything they say before the but. So all that respect about Joe Biden, you can ignore all that. So here comes the truth.
He got into office. He promised to be a transitional president.
America's first transitional president, Joe Biden. Does he look transitional to you? Oh, he means transitional in a political sense. I thought you meant the trans thing.
To be a stopgap to pave the way for somebody else to come on board.
And now this is all these conspiracies of what, went on and didn't go on, that Biden was only there to be a transition, a white guy transition before he hands it all over to someone else. And that's where, the Democrats got a little surprised. They thought he was a one-term president, which he never ran on that. But I mean, it was implied he was so old that he would be a one-termer. And then, little did they know, Joe Biden was full of himself.
Into the midterms, it was supposed to be a red wave. It did not happen. The Democrats was flying high. He felt the momentum because he was the incumbent. And instead of leaving, he decided to stay. Yeah. When he decided to stay, the Democrats were in a quandary because they were expecting him to leave.
Yeah, you guys put him there, and now you got to try to get rid of him. This is about kind of alternate scenarios anyways. Do you realize what would happen if the Democrats just allowed Trump to win 2020? He'd be gone out of office now. He probably would have failed and been hated on because he'd have the same administration from his 2016 win. That is, Mike Pence would be his vice president right now. He would not have a Republican House and Senate right now. He would be trying to struggle through this lame chuck presidential term, and he'd be over, and the next Democrat person for a new era would be starting this January. It would not be Kamala Harris, a goof. It would probably be a Gavin Newsom or some true antichrist. So now you start to see the alternate. What if God's providence was amazing mercy that he had Trump lose? Maybe. I'm just proposing it. That's all. I'm a comic book artist.
Now he wants to stay. They're around him. They're seeing the fastball has dissipated to some degree. They're seeing that he's not what he used to be.
Oh, my friend Stephen, Biden hasn't had a fastball since 1971. That's after he was middle-aged.
And what do you do about it? You grease the skids. There's no primary for him to experience. You let him go on stage June 27th, and clearly he was exposed. 3.5 weeks later, he's forced and compelled to step away because donors to the Democratic establishment, they were not going to support that.
They did not grease the skids on that campaign. They did a rush job. When he says grease the skids, they manipulated him into that office. So don't pretend like they were trying to get rid of him, because Bernie Sanders was ready to run. Hillary could have run. Elizabeth Warren was ready to run. RFK Jr. was ready to run on the Democrat side. And you guys did a rush job, pushed him out, and threw in Biden. So don't give me this. He foiled their plans in staying in. They went along with it. They thought, well, I guess we're going to force Biden in.
And then Kamala Harris is inserted. I don't blame her one bit.
Same.
I thought she did a phenomenal job.
Yep.
She went all out.
When he says she did a phenomenal job, it's like, I've had, known people who were in a coma, and then they wake them up and they have to take the first step, and they take a step and you all cheer, hooray. And really, like, they barely were able to control their own first step. If that's what you mean by Kamala doing a phenomenal job, kind of like, when a dog walks around and has a hat on, you applaud him going, yay, you look at him. It doesn't look normal. Okay. But it is an animal trying to walk upright. When a gorilla, they walk on their hind legs. It's cute. Or when the cats, they have to go to the bathroom, they walk on their front legs. Very good. It's not quite like a normal person walking, but you did a phenomenal job, Kamala, for you being what you are. You did very, very good. Here's a cookie and a bag of Coke. Good girl.
She did what she could, but you can't overcome that kind of situation.
You can't overcome her low IQ. I don't want to rag on her forever, but clearly this is a woman who has only taken advantage of opportunities in her life, and it was never based on her own merit or her own abilities. Whatever it is that got her where she is quite a magic lady to get there, given the limited tools that she has. But this is very interesting, this jock pontificating on The View. And I just find The View interesting. It is the hub of so many politics to me. So many conversations go back to them, especially that Kamala event. She did very few interviews. She goes on The View. She gives the one answer that went all across the internet and destroyed Kamala's, one of the biggest things that destroyed Kamala's chances of winning right at a crucial time when they really needed her to succeed that week. What do you guys think? Did The View have a role in this election? Yes or no? I'm Doug in exile.